Hello, my name is Jasmine, I'm part of the Indie Gamers team, and welcome to my first impression / review video of Spectrum. This is a game made by Midu Basim, who are based in Auckland, New Zealand. It's released for Windows, and it is, I believe, about £3. It's a side-scrolling puzzle platformer, and I have several things to say. First of all, let's take a look at the menu. So, if we go into the options, you can see that there's only one option, and that's the resolution. Now, I don't know about you, but I would at least like to be able to toggle the volume, because if I decided I didn't like the music in this game, which it's not bad, it's not great, it's kind of a bit repetitive and a little bit annoying, but if I decided I didn't want to listen to that and I wanted to listen to something else, I can't. I just have to mute my entire laptop. I can't just mute this, and I can't turn it down if it's too loud and I want to have something else up. Like, it's just awkward, frankly. And personally, I would have liked to be able to rebind the keys. That's just something that I kind of look for. I would really like that. If the controls are slightly awkward for me, it would be great to be able to rebind the keys. I understand that this is a game made for controller. I did use it with a controller, but a couple of times I did try and use a keyboard, and it was impossible, frankly, to use a keyboard. So I don't really understand why you can't rebind the keys. So that wasn't great for me. So there is a story in this platformer. It's basically you are this main character called Tadashi, and it's kind of unclear what the goal is. I didn't really understand until about the third time I looked at the startup screen, which does appear every time you open the game. And you have to basically find out what happened to you, which is a little bit vague, but hey, I can work with that. Basically, the main mechanic of this game is to kind of change the color of yourself to match the platform that you're about to jump onto. For some reason, apparently you need to do that. I don't know, the mechanic in itself isn't a bad idea. I don't feel that in this game it was well carried out at all. Yeah. Sometimes the game can be pretty laggy, despite the fact that I am running this on a pretty good machine. It was like, I was told it was running about at least 40 FPS like the whole way through, but it was just kind of lagging a little bit, which led to me getting a little bit frustrated with the game. I say a little bit, I was very frustrated with this game. But hey, that wasn't all to do with the lagginess. To do with the jump control, because as you can see, you have to jump from platform to platform, obviously, that's how you get around. The jump is kind of quite far, like you can jump quite a good distance with this character, but unlike in other platformers, you can't kind of change your direction in midair, so if you jump a little bit too far, you will go off the side, and you'll have to restart that entire sequence that you just did. And that is so frustrating to me. Like, I don't have a lot of patience with video games. I think they should be fun. I enjoy a challenge. If it's really difficult, I will just give up, because I have other games that I want to play, basically. And it's just frustrating for me. So that was a mechanic that I really didn't get on with. I feel that could have definitely been worked on, especially as this game was apparently in production for about 15 months. I think there's a lot that could be improved on. Now the art style is interesting. It's described on the website as they didn't want to make it too cartoony, and they didn't want to make it too realistic, and it looks a little bit to me like they couldn't quite make their mind up what they wanted to do. The background of it, like the backdrop, the comic kind of strip backdrop, that is amazing and it's gorgeous, and I think that's a really good idea, and it looks incredible. But all the kind of moving pieces, the platforms, and the character just kind of look really bad. They don't really look professional. They kind of look like they've been brushed and copy pasted like everywhere, and it's not great. If you look in the corner where the little color light up control pad section thing is, in the corner of that it kind of looks like someone's tried to rub the rest of an image out, and there's just kind of like a white outline on some of it, and that just, to me, just kind of seems lazy and just really badly produced, to be honest. And I think if they'd been working on this for 15 months, they probably should have noticed that and realized that they should probably fix that, because it doesn't look right at all. The character, speaking of the main character can sometimes kind of just randomly flail his limbs around and kind of move, and sometimes it'll like just randomly slide off a platform, like I think it might have just done there. But that's not great. I mean, if the main character you're playing as is buggy, you should probably fix that, shouldn't you, in production? But hey, yeah, as you can tell, I didn't enjoy playing this game. It's not that great at all, actually. But hey, there are worse games. There are worse games. I don't feel like the company kind of knew what they were doing at all. I think they kind of may have changed their mind halfway through and been like, the way the website describes it kind of sounds like that. They said it evolved into a puzzle, and I think they just kind of made it a platformer and were like, this is boring, what can we do to change this? And they kind of just shoved some puzzle mechanics in there that don't really fit, and then the mechanics surrounding that don't work as well because of that, and they just haven't bothered fixing it. And that's just not great. Now let's talk about this. The control menu options that appear up in notes. I get that they wanted to be kind of like different with the way they designed that, but it's kind of difficult to tell from those notes what the controls actually are. Also, every time you go back to it, it'll come up right in your face, and usually I'll be mid-jump when that happens, and that will just destroy me. And then every time I go back to that section, that same note will come up right in the center of the screen, and it's so frustrating and annoying, and I just can't deal with that. It's horrendous. Actually, it is. And also, I believe one section I had to, like, travel through this whole section and press a button and then come back. And when I came back through it, then I got the control again. And that's just lazy to me. Like, they couldn't think of a way to kind of take that out after you've seen it once. Like, seriously. I don't understand at all. Just, really. But, I don't know. I hated this game, personally. I think it was possibly, I don't want to be really harsh, but it's one of the worst games I've ever played, just because I did not enjoy this at all. Like, I started with an open mind. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. This is a different mechanic. I haven't played this before. The controls are okay. Like, they take a minute to kind of get to grips with, and you can still kind of fumble it. You're still going to be fumbling with them and not really sure kind of where to reach after a while, but you know, you get used to it. It's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. And I don't know, it wasn't enjoyable to me, and to me that is kind of the aim of a video game. It's to be entertaining so I can have fun playing it, and if a video game doesn't achieve that, I think they've kind of failed in their video game goal or whatever. I didn't make it to the end of this game. I think I've played maybe about 40 minutes, and I couldn't really carry on. I think after 15 minutes, I just couldn't. I was really struggling. I don't really know how much I played of it. It might be 40 minutes, just because I kept having to like restart areas again. I think you might see here that note every time I like fell off that platform, it would just come up right again in my face, and I just got so frustrated with having to close it every time, and I was dying, and it's just a vicious circle of rage, and that's just not fun to me. Like, it's a different thing to be raging in like an online game such as Call of Duty if someone like kills you, but then you go back and you can get revenge, and that can be kind of fun because that's a challenge. This isn't. This is just annoying, and I feel that there are so many things that they could have improved on in this game, and they just kind of either didn't see that it was a problem, or they didn't. Like, going back to the art style point, the two kind of, the background and like the foreground, like the pieces in the foreground that move and the platforms, they don't mix. Like, they don't look like they should be in the same game. It kind of looks like they've taken something out of a different game and just pasted it on the top and been like, yeah, that's fine, that works. We can't be asked to do anything else. It's okay. And I don't feel this is particularly well produced, to be honest, like, at all. Like, I've played so much. It's not even about the graphics. It's just like, if you're gonna make it a certain way, maybe like stick to that, or like there are better ways of doing that without it making look like a sore thumb that's just sticking out and that just kind of, I don't know. I just don't think they handled that transition particularly well, and I don't think it was a good idea at all. And it's just not good. It's not good. Oh, so mad about this game. Even the soundtrack now is just really annoying me, so I don't know. I don't think I can find much that I like about this game. I mean, the mechanics pretty a good idea, so I think I gotta give them points for that, because that's a pretty original idea as far as I'm concerned. There may have been something else or a basis for that, but I haven't played a game with a mechanic like that. So, I mean, I've got to give them props to that, but apart from that, can't really think of anything else that's good about this game or original, like, apart from like the backdrop and the mechanic. I think everything else is either poorly produced, lazily produced, or just aggravating, annoying, and not fun. And that's just not the aim of video game to me. So, yeah. I guess I'll follow with review tradition and I'll give this a rating or something. But, I think controls probably like maybe like a 3 out of 5, because they were kind of annoying. Maybe like a 4, actually. Not gonna be that mean. Like a 4 out of 5, because they weren't that bad at all. They weren't that bad. But yeah. Graphics, I'll give like a 2 out of 5, because I like the backdrop, but they don't blend. Like, the foreground and the background don't blend at all. They don't work together. Like, there's different ways of doing that. The story, I'll give about a 2 as well, because it's not. It kind of confused me from the beginning, and I wasn't vaguely interested in anything to do with the story. It was just boring. It just wasn't even an original idea. They were just like, kind of seems to me like they couldn't really think of a story, so they were just like, oh no, we'll just do this. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Probably give the audio about a 3, because it's not bad. I just personally find it really irritating, and it's actually very repetitive. Playability, probably give it like a 3, 2, 3. I'll give it a 3, because, I mean, you can play it, but it's just aggravating. It's so aggravating. Oh, God. Yeah. It's not great. Actually, I think I'll change the playability to about like a 2 out of 5, just because it made me so mad. It just wasn't fun to play at all. I think they kind of made it a little bit too serious when they were producing this game, possibly, and kind of put all their energy into focusing on things that perhaps didn't work out as well as they hoped. I think constructive criticism I would give this company would be, I'm extremely impressed with your background art. I think if you're going to make more games, I think you should kind of play to your strengths and focus it on that kind of art style and kind of keep it to one art style like that. I think that would be a really good idea, and that could turn out to be a really beautiful game. I think I like the originality of their game mechanic. I think if they can keep coming up with original game mechanic ideas like that, that's a really good idea, and they should definitely go for that. But as far as controls are concerned, you really need to work on that, because they're just at points they just become unplayable, because you just can't keep going back to that kind of style. It's horrendous. But yeah, so overall probably like this game kind of comes out at like a 2.8 out of 5 using the maths that we use in Indie Gamers for the scoring system. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. It's not the worst game I've ever played. There are definitely worse games, oh dear. But it's probably the worst indie game that I've ever played, which isn't great. I mean, I haven't played that many bad indie games, actually, so I mean, I guess that's a good thing. There's definitely going to be a worse one than this, but they just, I don't know, it's kind of like they sporadically put their focuses in places, and I think we need to come together and have a big meeting and just kind of think about it and kind of produce something really good with, like, kind of hone in on one unique idea and do that. That'd be great. So that's the end of my review slash first impressions video of Spectrum, and I'll see you next time. So bye.